In this video, I'll show you how I created an automation dashboard UI for the WaveShare ESP32-P4 4-inch display using ESPHome and integrated it with Home Assistant. Alexa, turn off the fan switch.
Turned off the switch.
Alexa, what's the temperature now?
Temperature is 38.5 degrees C.
This board features two ESP32 chips, P4 and C6. It also includes a built-in microphone and speakers. All board details are available on the WaveShare product page, and sample codes can be found on the wiki page. If you'd like to see more display boards integrated with Home Assistant, consider supporting me on Buy Me a Coffee. Your support will help me get a Home Assistant Green or a Raspberry Pi. I use EEZ Studio to create the UI. I need the width, height, position, and other properties for ESPHome YAML. I added images and icons to preview the UI. Later, I will use these images in ESPHome. I added Google Fonts to preview the font size, label placement, and other properties. I added a slider widget and styled it to best match the UI. I set the width and height, then adjusted the main, indicator, and knob style properties for a unique look. EEZ Studio shows the count of the properties we added, making it easy to locate the correct style property. I added a switch component and styled its parts. I styled the checked state to create a unique effect. I also added an icon to the switch to provide visual feedback. Once everything looks good, I generate the UI, then I opened it in VS Code. From the screen.c file, I copied the generated UI code and asked the AI to translate it into ESPHome YAML format. For this project, I'm running Home Assistant on a UTM virtual machine. To install the add-on, go to Home Assistant, Settings, Add-ons, search for ESPHome, then install and start the ESPHome service. After starting, go to the ESPHome builder and set your Wi-Fi credentials and other keys in secrets.yaml. Create a new device, enter a name, and select the device. Since the ESP32-P4 is not available in the list, configure it manually in YAML. After the device is created, click Edit to update the YAML. For the WaveShare ESP32-P4 box, I used a YAML file from a great repository. It includes configurations for Wi-Fi, Ethernet, voice assistant, and more. You can check the repository and examples. I copied main.yaml and replaced it with the one I created in an ESPHome. For the audio, I also use the configuration from the repository. The main.yaml contains the UI created with EEZ Studio. I pasted the translated YAML code, but it didn't work as is. I referred to the ESPHome LVGL documentation and applied the necessary changes. For the main panel, I used an LVGL object and set the background image using the BG image src style property. I also used the images component to store graphical images. For the label widgets, I applied proper style properties according to the design. For custom fonts, I assigned a font ID and defined it using the font component. I used Google Fonts, setting the font family, weight, and size. For best results, I set the BPP to 8. For the slider widget, I set the style properties for the main, indicator, and knob. I applied the same approach for the switch. I created ESPHome switch and number components to interact with LVGL widgets and bound them to the appropriate widget IDs. For time and date, I used SNTP instead of a Home Assistant sensor. It fetches the time directly from SNTP and updates the time and date labels. For the weather condition, I used a Home Assistant sensor. I created a separate YAML file for the icons and defined all weather icons using the images component. This keeps the main file clean and makes it easy to reuse the icons in future projects. I did the same for temperature and humidity. To find the entity ID of a sensor, go to Developer Tools, then in the States tab, search for the sensor. In the configuration YAML, I removed unused components and settings. Since I'm using Wi-Fi, I commented out the Ethernet settings and uncommented the ESP32C6 settings. Once everything is set up, go to Install and select Manual Download for the first time. I encountered a platform download error. After some searching, I found the correct platform version link. Once it completes successfully, download the factory format.bin file. Go to ESPHome Web Flasher and flash the factory.bin file. After the installation is successful, go to the ESPHome Builder and check the logs to find the IP address. Then go to Settings, Devices and Services, and add the integration. Sometimes the device will be discovered automatically. Open the ESPHome integration to check. It is now integrated with Home Assistant. To enable the voice assistant, go to Settings, Add-ons, and install Speech-to-Phrase or Whisper and Piper. Start the services, then go back to Settings, Voice Assistant. Select STT and TTS and click Update. Go back to Settings, Devices and Services, select ESPHome and choose the device. In the configuration, set up the voice assistant. Also, enable the option to allow the device to perform Home Assistant actions in the device options. If you enjoyed this video, consider supporting.